Now let us start with the having clause. Having clause. So having clause is also used like a filter. It is also used for filtering the data. Filtering the data just like a where clause. Just like where clause. Yeah. So having clause was added to a SQL because the where keyword cannot be used as the aggregation functions. So in the where clause, aggregation functions cannot be used. Aggregation functions cannot be used. Therefore, they have introduced this having clause. So what does it mean? So if you want to apply some aggregate functions, we use having clause. That is very important. If you want to use any aggregation functions, we use the having clause. We cannot use the where clause for aggregation. Then if you look at the difference between the where clause and the having clause, where clause comes before where clause comes before the group by. Where clause comes before group by, whereas having clause comes after group by. Let me give you one more point. So you can use where clause without group by. Without group by you can use a where clause, okay, but if you want to use the having clause, you cannot use having clause without group by. So if you want to use the having, definitely there should be a group by clause. After group by clause only you can use the having. So let me give you the difference between where and having. Very important. Where clause comes before the group by, having clause comes after the group by, and you cannot use the having clause without group by, but whereas you can use where clause without the group by also, and you can use the aggregation functions in having only, whereas you cannot use the aggregation functions in the where clause, and both are used for the filtering only, but having is used more after the group by. I mean, having clause is used after the data is grouped and you are filtering on that data, then having clause is used. That is a basic difference between the having and where clause.